Today, when films are being shot, they're not being shot for the TV screen. They're first being shot on a vertical format for Insta. Those are the kind of changes that we need to adapt to. So you think of e-commerce today, honestly, hand on heart, we cannot say that all this while 1 year back, we used to talk about saying that my SEO is great, my organic traffic is great. Today, I don't think anybody talks SEO. The new terminology is AEO, GEO, depending on who you talk to. Everybody is an expert in some model. Claude, AI, Gemini, you name the chat GPT. You name this, everybody is an expert in all of these things. But the number of people who can actually stake a claim to say, I will not spend a penny and I will get my organic traffic up tomorrow, ready with the kind of things that I need to do, very few. So that kind of expertise is hard to build. And that's the evolving landscape that we have to grapple with. Someday you have to, at the base of it all is thinking like a businessman. If a CMO cannot think like, I need to build a business and a brand, it's going to be a very hard job to justify what you're doing.
What's really hard to crack when it comes to influencer media, and how are you managing to get past those?
Sure. I would say, Dilsha, that we are still learning there. But I also want to just step back a bit and talk about this cultural relevance thing that you talked about. I think it's fascinating. I feel like that is at the heart of what a marketer should do. On how they make their product, their stories, how they bring their ideas to life, all of it culturally relevant. And we have seen, whenever we have done that well, we have seen a lot of success. And one example I'll give you is how we have built the chocolate category in India by positioning chocolate as the modern meetha in consumers' mind. And meetha is very culturally relevant. That's one example. Similarly, whenever we do communication and advertising, whenever we do it in a way which is culturally relevant, we find that sticks much better with, with people. Our relationship with the brand kind of gets built a lot more. And I think it goes back to what all of us were saying in the beginning, that there are some things that have not changed about marketing, and this is, one of them, thankfully. It's about how you are aware of the culture, the surroundings around you, and everything that you do from end to end, from product innovation to communication is steeped into, very strongly into the culture of that place. So influencer, therefore, is just one way to do that. I mean, that's the way we look at it. And it comes down to saying, okay, this is your brand proposition. Maybe you've introduced a new product in the market, or maybe it's an existing product, but there's some virtue about the brand that you want to talk about. I think we have seen that, yes, influencers can play an important role. One of the reasons is that there is a lot of audience for those influencers. So that becomes a very effective way for us to communicate to people in the end. And it goes back to the whole fragmentation of media that I talked about. So we are also kind of learning there, and it also depends upon brand to brand, the objective and so on. But we are also integrating influencers in our media planning.
Meenakshi, ITC, of course, large, lots of brands across, various kinds of products. Given the spaces that you look into and the businesses and brands that you are growing, give me your take on how influencer media is essentially changing that game for you.
Yeah, absolutely, Dilshad. See, if I just step back and say why influencer media, so it all starts with the consumer, as we are discussing over here, right? The consumers are engaging with certain people whom they feel they can follow. They can, they like the messaging this certain person is putting up. We are calling them influencers. For them, they are other people on social media, and they happen to like them, and they, start following them. So from there starts developing the trust of this consumer with this person who keeps putting up these messages, and they engage with it, they like it. And therefore, I think when we look at it now from the brand side, I think what we realize is that if this is the way that the consumer is really consuming the content, that they are going to go to different parts of social media, watch different reels, and therefore see what's happening in the lives of different people.
Right.
We need to integrate ourselves there so that the transference of the trust happens between the consumer, influencer, and brand, all three. I think that's how we see it at ITC, and we, kind of integrate there. for example, with the value that we see in influencer marketing goes far beyond being able to tell the core positioning story, which we were always doing in our 30-seconders. Now, the kind of content we want to put out, whether it's about our features or the ingredient stories, in personal care I'm talking about, or even the sourcing of those ingredients, the manufacturing of our products, there's so much the consumer wants to know. And this is, the influencer medium is one medium which allows you to do this seamlessly, because if the brand is authentic and they put out their content in an open manner, the consumers are willing to listen to it, they want to engage with it. And now, like, even if you look at perfume category, which, we lead, one of the things we've been doing there is, gone are the days that people just want to buy a perfume from the name of the brand or just the top notes of that perfume. They want to know so much more about ingredients, about safety, how it will behave on your skin, how is it manufactured, and so many other details. And similar for other brands, whether it's skincare, whether it is other personal care brands. So I think for us, what is important is, if the consumer is moving to this content consumption methodology, we need to participate there. And how do we do it authentically? That is, I think, what we aim for.
You can fight the tide for a while, but you can't fight the tide forever. And clearly right now, the investors are more driven by the AI wave, and I mean that not by virtue of just as a trend, but there is clear winners coming out of that, both from companies, but even geographies and markets.
Presented by HSBC. Co-presented by Cognizant. Powered by Reliance Industries. Industry partner, Vicky.